change the subject. So I have a personal share, okay? I'm going to share what my Facebook post was today, okay? And I want to share this with everybody. Okay? This has nothing to do with cheating. This is a personal share. This is on Facebook. I wrote, I've always said you can't build trust over the telephone. But can you build connection? Absolutely, if you've met in person first. Here's the truth. Connection is sparked in presence. It lives in the body language, eye contact, and the subtle energy exchange you just can't replicate through a screen or a speaker. But once that foundation is there, the phone becomes a powerful bridge, a place where curiosity turns into emotional intimacy. Long, unfiltered conversations, the kind where someone lets their guard down, tells stories, asks real questions, that's where the connection gets oxygen. But without ever meeting in person, that's a risky game, because the phone, for all its magic, also fuels projection. You're not falling for them, you're falling for the hope of who they are. That's the danger, confusing emotional access with emotional availability. Trust is a whole different animal. It's built through patterns, not promises, through how someone shows up and not just how they sound. So yes, phone calls can deepen connection when the soil has been tilled in person, but trust, that grows in the messy, beautiful in-person rhythms of real life. Don't confuse late night words with real world proof. Connection can be kindled over the phone, but trust shows up at your door. And I want to share the personal part with you. So, speaking, by the way, if you don't know this, I am actually been dating someone for going on 7 weeks. And I just want to share, based on this post, after one in-person meeting, there wasn't an instant spark. No fireworks, no rush of chemistry, but something felt safe and open. Then came phone calls, long, honest, late-night conversations that unraveled layers neither of us expected. That's where the connection was born. The attraction didn't come from a glance across the table. It came from feeling deeply seen and heard. Sometimes chemistry isn't immediate. Sometimes it grows through presence, patience, and the courage to go deeper than the surface. So I want to share with everybody, I'm in a relationship with someone. We agreed to explore a relationship shortly after we had our second meeting. We said, let's explore a relationship together. Now, what did that mean? That meant that we wanted to devote time to each other, to get to know each other through shared activities, hobbies, mutual interests, spending time with family and friends, and potentially traveling together. We haven't really done that yet. But we agreed to explore a relationship. And over the weeks that we got to know each other, we both kind of grew on one another. We liked each other. We spent regular time together. And yes, we were physically intimate with one another. And we shared my dating vows to each other. And if you're not familiar with my dating vows, here it is. There's a link below in the show notes called Dating Vows. But we shared this with one another, and I'm going to share it with everybody. And the dating vows go like this. This is a commitment you make to one another when you choose to explore a relationship together. So it says, and we both agreed, I agree to explore the process of getting to know you from a truthful place with the intent to declare something serious in the next 3 to 6 months. I agree to be monogamous sexually while we're having regular sex together. I agree not to actively seek to meet and date others while we're in the dating process, including taking down my dating profile. I agree to speak up if this isn't working for me versus pulling back, ghosting, or disappearing. And I agree to invest regular time in the process of getting to know you, which looks like social activities, hobbies, mutual interests, spending time with family and friends. I'm sharing this with you because we didn't have chemistry on the first meeting. We had met at a restaurant overlooking the marina. We had breakfast and coffee. We had a 5-hour conversation. Oh my God, her and I can talk for hours and hours at a time. But for whatever reason, we didn't have that strong pull towards one another. But I now recognize why that happened, because what ended up happening is we talked on the phone after that first meeting a couple days later, and we were both confused. Why wasn't there? We both experienced no chemistry. It didn't mean that we didn't have attraction. We weren't feeling a pull towards one another. And just for the record, she's totally okay with me sharing this publicly. I've already got her permission because she understands that I'm the guy that talks about a lot of my stuff. But why I'm bringing this up is through our conversations, there was no pressure of a relationship. So we shared our inner world with one another. We got to share who we were because we didn't have the pressure of dating. We didn't have the pressure of trying to impress someone. In fact, we shared a lot of our fears, our insecurities, our doubts, our judgments. We talked about our past relationships because we were building a friendship with one another. But what was interesting is the more we talked, the more we became attracted to one another, the more we became attracted to more. And so when we agreed to meet for a drink, about 10 days after that first meeting, there was like this wow that happened. It was chemistry was built through the intellectual and emotional connection. And then the physical part came because we had built a strong intellectual and emotional connection with one another. And we also, we inquired about our practical life to see if we were compatible from that standpoint. And we had already been speaking so much. We were talking regularly for hours a day just because I felt like I was making a new friend. She felt like she said, I'm making my new, she said gay best friend, and the context was because I'm an emotional communicator. And so I'm sharing this story because I think we are so, because of the dating apps, we are so expectant of instant chemistry. We are so expectant of instant chemistry when actually chemistry is something that can be built through intellectual and emotional stimulation. And by the way, I think she's beautiful. I think she's gorgeous. Not that I didn't think she was attractive when I met her, but there wasn't this strong pull. And I now recognize from a spiritual perspective that God, universe, spirit was keeping us at arm's length. It was keeping us arm's length so we could build that connection without the pressure. I think dating now has so much pressure on it that it's no wonder it's so dysfunctional. And God forbid, we're swimming in a sea of emotional dysfunctionality. No wonder it's a mess out there. So I'm sharing this story to give you all hope, just because you didn't. Debbie says, it sounds like you are both at a place in your lives. It's nice to have a partner, but you don't need a partner. Oh my God, you're absolutely right. You know what I realized? I don't need someone for my happiness. I think I've constantly chased love from a place of, I need you to love me so I can feel good about myself. I've chased love. And actually, after my significant relationship ended about 2 years ago, I really did a deep dive on self-love. By the way, this is my book, What the Heck is Self-Love Anyway? A Journey of Personal Development, Self-Help, and Spiritual Work. But as I began to love myself and be happy, this person brings me joy. Look, I'd be sad if this doesn't work out, if she leaves me or ends it. But you know what? I've come to the conclusion that I'm actually okay. I'm happy with her without a relationship. And the thing is, she just enhances my life. She doesn't bring the joy to my life. And I believe if she was sitting right next to me, she'd be saying the exact same thing. Annika says, that sounds wonderful, Jonathan. I'm so happy. And I love that you that approach, starting with friendship. I'm a big believer now that I've experienced. I believe we should put everybody in the friend zone first. And even Lewis Howes, who is a famous podcaster with the School of Greatness, they spent the first few months building the friendship before they were physical with one another. That's what we should be doing. It's not about holding out for sex. It's about building the friendship. Now, mind you, I'm about 20 years older than Lewis Howes, so it's a little bit different for those of us in midlife. But I think we should be operating from the place of starting in the friend zone, and then the chemistry or the physical part gets activated from that vantage point. Just like Monica and Chandler from Friends. They were such good friends that the sex catapulted their relationship to something deeper. Okay. TS says, I need to get to the point where knowing I don't need anyone just to be happy. Yeah, this takes work. This takes inner work to get to a place so solid in your sovereignty that you don't need someone in your life to be happy, that someone entering your life just adds to your joy. And she has a saying. She says, the sweetness of the person exceeds the sweetness of my solitude. I might be butchering that a little bit, but it's something along that lines. Debbie also points out, I agree, friendship first. You know what's interesting? When I think back, most of you know my last significant relationship, and she is a beautiful, sweet, wonderful person. And when I said beautiful on the inside, along to go with the outside. And, you know, we had a friendship, but we weren't really playmate friendships. We were kind of two quite a bit different people. And what I like about this new person is her personality is just like me. We fucking remember what my ex-girlfriend said, I was exhausting. Okay, and I'm going to call her my girlfriend for this conversation, but my girlfriend now, she calls me extra, meaning we, by the way, we process everything. And what we do, and I think this is really important. By the way, Monica points out that Lewis Howes also made the girls he dated immediately go to therapy with him. I don't believe it's exactly like that. I think he did that with Martha, his now wife, and they're expecting a child. I think it was that relationship he began, but he might have done that before. But I think it's a great idea to bring a counselor. In fact, I had my now girlfriend have a session with, everybody knows Sabrina. I bring her on the channel frequently. I had my girlfriend have a session with Sabrina. But what's interesting, oh God, I lost my train of thought about friendship. We like to unpack things. She loves to unpack things as much as I do. And here's the thing. I want someone to write this in the chat box. This is something we do frequently. We talk about, it's called, how did we get here? Where are we? And where are we going? Someone write that in the chat box. How did we get here? Where are we? And where are we going? How did we get here? Where are we? Where are we going? I'll repeat that, okay? We constantly talk about the relationship from that vantage point because we realize that a relationship is like, it's like a sailboat in the ocean. The minute if you have the rudder or the steering column, if you turn it 1 degree, do you know if you were traveling to Hawaii, 1 degree will take you to New Zealand or take you to Australia, just 1 degree off, okay? So a relationship is like steering a boat. You're constantly doing this to keep it on path. So what we decided is we're going to do, how did we get here? Where are we? Where are we going? Is to revisit the relationship on a regular basis to keep in touch from, like, we kind of laugh. How did we get here? You know, like, how did we get here? Like, you know, we both thought there was no chemistry at first, you know? And we kind of revisit that and we're like, where are we? We check in, and we're also talking about how we'd like to see our future life potentially together so we can see if we're in alignment with one another. How did we get here? Where are we? And where are we going? I think everybody who's dating should adopt this as a narrative. But Jonathan, I'm with a guy who doesn't talk about his emotions. He doesn't talk about his feelings. We've been together for 5 years and he doesn't talk about the relationship. Then why the fuck do you want to be with that guy? Why do you want to be with a guy who isn't going to talk about the relationship? Folks, I'm here to say the whole point of relationship is to be of service to one another. And you can't be of service to one another if you're not constantly checking in about how did we get here? Where are we? And where are we going? That's the whole. Okay, I get jacked up here. I'm sorry, but I witnessed so many of you arguing for the wrong relationships. Why do you argue for the wrong relationship? Most likely because you're attached at an unhealthy level. And I'm here to be the wake-up call to shake you. to encourage you to step out of the old narratives and start stepping into something that's more heart-centered. I genuinely care for this person. I see a potential future. Not that we're rushing into anything like getting married or anything like that or living together, but I see a future, and we talk about what that would look like so we can get a sense of, are we on the same page? Someone write that in the chat box as well, because when you're asking, how did we get here? Where are we and where are we going? It's about being on the same page. We constantly check in. We constantly check in. Debbie just points this out. I also agree that weekly check-ins on the relationship. We do it regularly. We don't do it weekly. We do it every time we talk, partially because I think I want to teach. I want to coach people. I really only want to work with people who genuinely want a heart-centered connection, not a transactional relationship. And so it's really about constantly checking in with each other on a regular basis. Are we on the same page? Are we on the same page? And of course, to have fun and do things. We went to a party it turns out she and I have many mutual friends, and we went to a party where she knew a lot of my friends, but there were some people that showed up at the party that I didn't know that she knew. So we have this great built-in kind of friendship with many couples. And we actually went to go stay the weekend at my ex-girlfriend's place. She has a vineyard in north of Los Angeles. And we stayed at her beautiful, not ranch, but beautiful place. Because she's good. She is actually friends with my ex-girlfriend and their partner. She knows them. So we had a lovely weekend. Connecting. And this is where I'm here to say, when we can shed all of the bullshit expectations around relationships, folks, I highly recommend reading If the Buddha Dated. If the Buddha Dated, it throws out all the bullshit gender rhetoric and says, how can we connect at a heart-centered level? And what I'm grateful for this new experience is that we're connecting at a heart-centered level, and we constantly check in. How did we get here? Where are we going? Or where are we? Where are we going? To make sure we're on the same page. Is this sinking in? Is this resonating with you? Please let me know if it is. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Post a comment below. I do my best to read them all in the first 24 hours. As always, if you find value in my videos, please hit that like button. Please share this video. Please subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you can be notified of new videos. And if you want to connect with me directly, hey, there's links below. Schedule a discovery call with me. Check out my group called Midlife Love Mastery. Get my dating vows. Get the books I recommend. Get my book. It's all listed below. All right, folks, I'm going to wrap up this video as I always do. Oh, wait. Tamara says, I didn't know he started a new relationship. I'm so excited for you. Thank you so much. I'm making it public now. Folks, thanks so much. I'm going to end my video as I always do. First off, give myself a big, gigantic Jonathan Barrick of self-love. I'm going to reach into the camera and give you a hug of love. I'm going to ask you to turn to someone, a pet, a teddy bear, a pillow, and give them a hug of love, because hugs are a great source of love. And we all could use more love in our lives. And Tamara also wants to say, I'm actually excited for her. Great guy. Thanks so much. And Totally Chill Girl says, John Gary recommends that you don't start dating someone because you're sexually attracted to them. Yes, I do believe what matters most is intellectual and emotional connection, and let the physical connection take it from there. All right, everyone. Wishing you all a super duper wonderful evening. Be well. Thanks. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Bye.